51-point win. You can't do it every game, but is there a way to bottle it or kind of build off that, or like how do you moving forward? How do you?
Well,
'cause you
first of
see-
all, the outcome is irrelevant. We did play better. We played kind of like a desperate, angry type team, more so than we had been all year long at any time, and so that was positive. But the thing that's so crazy about sports, and we see it all the time, is we didn't try to do one thing different than what we tried just 5 days earlier, and it's just a mindset difference. And so, we try to bottle that, and guys understand why we looked a lot better and why we played better. But I think each individual in that particular game kind of took it on themselves to get themselves ready, as opposed to waiting on somebody to do it for them.
Bill, you guys made the choice to fly home yesterday instead of on Sunday after the game. Just how did the travel go, getting back to Lawrence?
Oh, it was fine. Did you say we made a choice?
Yeah,
No, no. Yeah, yeah. Well, we didn't make a choice. The weather made the choice for us. We were told that we couldn't get back, and we actually left to go to the airport around 10 o'clock, 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time, and halfway to the airport, we were told that we couldn't get out. So we were calling the hotel to make accommodations to go back to the hotel and spend the day there, because we were told everything was shut down. And there was something with the ramp, being able to get the ramp to the actual plane. And then still on the same bus ride, before she could turn around, we got a call saying, no, we got it handled now to come on in. So, yeah, it was fine. In situations like that, it doesn't do any good to, worry about that stuff. We're just happy we got home when we did, and didn't feel rushed. And the worst thing about it forced yesterday to be a day off as opposed to a preparation day.
So no concern at all about the game tomorrow happening on schedule when all that was happening?
As far as our game coming off tomorrow,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no concern. I've already got all the emails today that business is all back as usual beginning tomorrow. I think it's even that way with public school, if I'm not mistaken. It's that way with the businesses in town. And I don't know what neighborhood you guys live in, but the main roads are fine. I don't know about the residential areas if they all are, but the biggest thing I think and the challenge will be just making sure that the parking lots are clear, which they're clear from snow, but are they clear from ice? Which I'm sure they're going to salt them and do all that stuff like they did the main parking lot out here, and the sidewalks, which even though the game's tomorrow, it's still plenty of time to get that stuff done between now and then. So I can't see tomorrow being anything other than cold.
Was Bryson able to make it out here as scheduled with the weather?
Yes. Bryson got here about an hour before we landed yesterday. He landed, and he's here. I haven't seen him yet. He's here. He's done all his physicals and getting fitted and getting all the things you need to do to be an actual student here. So he won't do anything today because he can't, but hopefully starting tomorrow he can do some things. I don't know if he'll participate in full practice yet starting tomorrow. We'll wait and see how he's feeling with his foot, but all indications are that's just a little time away, if any.
Bill, you talked about the mindset difference. Does that have to come from veterans? Do they need to be guys that have gone through some college basketball to just decide that, or can that be young, old, doesn't matter?
I think in a perfect world it comes from your veterans. But I'm telling you what, next year it won't come from a veteran; it'll come from a freshman. So the thing that we need is that for it to be a collective effort as opposed to an individual effort, because history has shown us that's something that doesn't come natural with some of the guys. And so if it doesn't come natural, let's all kind of, do our part to add to it rather than rely on somebody else to do it. And that's what happened the other day. Let's call it like it is. When Hunt and Juan and KJ play with that type of energy, we're a different team than when that does not show up, without question.
Do you have a read on So they do that. It goes well. Human nature maybe is okay. Relax a little. Do you have a read on whether they'll keep that pedal down? Or?
We talked about that briefly, but I haven't seen them since the game in a basketball type talk or setting. So you guys know after a game you can't talk about the game with your players or show film, and then it's a rule. Anything that occurs after the game, even if you play 11 a.m. game, you can't do anything with the players after the game. No film, no talk, no nothing. The next day, which was our travel day, and on travel days or off days, you can't do anything basketball related with them. So our first time to see them will be today, and talk about anything basketball, which will just be in an hour from now. So yeah, we'll discuss all that. But you bring up a good point. But I think the point is a little bit different. If you really love to play and those sorts of things, you should be motivated and be enthused about that opportunity whenever you're playing in front of a full house at all times. And so I think a lot of it's from within. If you rely on a coach to pep their guys up every game, that may happen in football a little bit more because you only play 10 or 12. In basketball, you can't do that. Can you imagine doing that in a baseball game? I mean, come on. In a baseball season, you guys got to do their jobs. And granted, there's certain moments where things like that definitely can impact a mindset. But for the most part, that impact should be an addition rather than the reason. And so, I'm hoping it was a valuable lesson learned, but that still remains to be seen.
Really quick following up on Bryson. I know he had the ankle injury with OTE. Do you know how much he'll be able to do practice-wise?
Well, he'll be able to do some things. I don't know if they're going to turn him fully loose until they get a chance to evaluate him on how he does with some things. But no, we're anticipating him being able to do individuals, some competitive things, but probably not up and down, at least until we're able to evaluate him.
And then with Arizona State, I know post-game you said they've got 2 pros. What stands out about the team you guys are going to face tomorrow?
Well, they've got they got 7 starters. If you really look at it, the big guy off the bench is a monster. They're tied for leading scorer is coming off the bench. So the players 6 and 7 are good, and 8's good too. But 8 doesn't score as many points. But they score easy. They're extremely long, very gifted physically. Their entire team, and they shoot a pretty ridiculous percentage. When 2 guys are shooting 48% from 3, or whatever it is, 46, 48, whatever the number is, that's pretty strong. And they got other guys that can shoot it. They can stretch it from 4 spots and sometimes 5. And Quaintance you guys will see he looks different than most. He's a youngster that we recruited, and he's a different looking dude. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Big challenge for us.
What did the film show on Shaq?
I actually thought Shaq was great. I thought everybody played well, but I think he contributed to us being able to guard them the way that we need to guard them. Strength, quickness on strength and quickness, as opposed to maybe using Juan in a situation where Shaq was better equipped to guard him and Juan was better equipped to guard Jordan Ivey. I think that there were some things that happened that was good for us with Shaq being out there.
Do you envision him opening the game, starting lineup?
Yeah, he'll start tomorrow. Yeah, I'm actually envisioning that right now. But you guys worry about that stuff far more than I do. But I guess there's something that could happen that he doesn't. He could twist an ankle or do something. But I certainly anticipate him being out there.
You said the team was ticked off. I assume you probably were pretty hard on him with talks last week. Since you played so well, does that make you want to continue to be the mean coach and ride him?
Well, first of all, with all due respect, and I know you're very, very efficient, Gary, but I don't really know how you would know exactly how I was with them unless you had some hidden microphones and video cameras. But I don't think.
You said do better talks.
Yeah, we'll do better talks. I've actually had a lot of those with others, and to be honest, others have had a lot of those with me over the course of time. But do better talks is probably another way that Coach Sutton would say I had to have conversations with them in a way that's probably a little bit more directed and pointed than what most of them are.
Just real quick, it looked like you guys were having fun out there and enjoying themselves. Is that a conversation you have to remind them to? I mean, they just look like
Is that really part of it? Is telling them to have fun really part of it, or does it come from the general mindset of, hey, what are we doing? To me, that's where it starts. I think we can break things down based on how we see results, and then we go to the actions that cause the results and get fixated on that. Most of the stuff happens at a much lower level, a mindset, an enthusiasm, a passion, things like that. If you have those things, then naturally it is more fun, the way I see it. So doesn't mean you're going to make all your shots or anything like that. But and if you guys really studied that game the other day, we didn't make our shots until Shaq and Ryland got hot from three. We missed a lot of shots. We just got them back. That was the difference in the game, at least in the first half. Wasn't, what did we make, 1-3, and our two best shooters go 1 for 10 from three? That wasn't the difference in the game. Was how many extra possessions we stole, and that's a mindset as much as anything else, and then that becomes contagious.
Bill, the media, I guess I'm part of that. We tend to put AJ and Ryland together because of some commonalities of where they came from and their success. Obviously, they're different people. Can you just talk about maybe each one individually and how much they both had some good minutes on Sunday, just how close they are to maybe realizing their potential and the ceiling and what they can do for us this year?
Well, they're both good players, and they were good players where they came from. They're better players than what they've been able to show so far. In large part, could that be because of us or the system? Absolutely, that could play a role in it. But I've always been in the business is how do you win in the end? And I think the best way for us to win in the end is to not pacify a situation, hoping to win a battle and maybe compromise yourself and doing what's right to give us the best chance in the end. And I think they're both trying. Their attitudes are great. And the other day, AJ was the odd man out the other day, and you guys saw it. He was the ninth man that got into the game. That's a pretty humbling thing, to be the ninth man when you get in the game whenever you got other things. But we were actually better with Shaq starting. We had a defensive mindset right from the get-go with him starting. It's not bad for AJ to see that. Ryland got in, and Ryland he did what he does. He shoots the ball when he's got space. But is that really why he played well? How many times did he dive on a loose ball? How many times did he steal an extra possession, which gives him confidence to shoot the ball in other situations because he knows he's not coming out because he's doing other things. So I thought the other day was a great day for both of them. To be real candid with you, but I didn't think it was one of those days that, hey, we were positively better with this guy in the game than that guy in the game. You could make a case that Flory Badunga was the best player in the game. But, Hunter still gets 21 in the first half. So and then KJ played his best game that he's played in weeks. I mean, gosh dang, he was phenomenal. The things that he did defensively and activity on the boards and running in transition and blocking shots, he was great. The goal is with me is not to figure out, okay, which five guys. The goal is to me is to get them all playing like that. If they all play like that, now what we talked about before, now you have 7 or 8 starters that are all good enough to play in any situation, and that's the goal for me. So we get hung up on certain things which are real, but it's in the big picture. You know, the goal is for us to be as good as we can be, and for us to be as good as we can be, we need everybody competing and playing at a high level, and they all bring something different. Rylan Griffin, to me, would have played just as well if he goes 1 for 4 from 3 as opposed to 4 for 4 from 3 because of the way that he played within the concept of what we're trying to do. And so, although it is nice to make shots, but, you know, that's how I look at it.